Hey, this is Linz, and you are watching Support the Scene.
Hey, this is Jade from Support the Scene. I'm here with another amazing Vancouver artist. Now, why don't you introduce yourself to those who may not know you?
Hello there. My name is Alex K. Massey, also known as Fairything. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a musician, writer, a whole bunch of things. People usually know me because I have a funny little synth that I play. And I just kind of like hop around the art state. I just kind of hop around the art scene, getting up to various shenanigans. Yeah, I don't know. I do a lot of stuff and I enjoy it all.
I think it's great. I mean, I think, being able to be, diverse in what you like and really, trying new things, just being out there in the arts is key in definitely a city like this.
Yeah.
Now you've been doing this for a while.
My
Why don't
God, I
you
have.
tell a little bit how you kind of got to where you are now?
Honestly, I still see myself as like very, very emerging, especially next to some other folks in the scene who have been doing this for like 5 to 10 years. I really only started like being Fairything, I suppose, like late 2020, like during the pandemic. Like, if anything, being on a Zoom call is almost kind of nostalgic for me because for a long time this was the only way that I could like share my music and stuff with people. But yeah, I started my introduction to the Vancouver art scene was through a creative writing program, and that kind of like got me involved with some people who were doing spoken word and also musicy stuff. My first like live performance was actually at Vancouver Fringe Festival doing spoken word and a little bit of music accompaniment to that. Yeah, that was really crazy being just like flung onto Vancouver Fringe as my first proper live gig, say for like, concert band stuff in high school. And my first live gig where I was like fairy thing, like a musician, was Vancouver Pride, as you may recall. That was my first time on a live stage doing, I think, a mostly music set. Like, I did spoken word and stuff, and I self-accompanied on my little instrument, but Vancouver Pride was my first time like doing a live musical solo performance. I really just like leapt headfirst into that. And it was so scary, but that really helped me realize like even when it is terrifying, I like doing this a lot. And like I know that everyone says this, but I feel like I'm making the kind of music that I wish I'd had when I was like younger and stuff. Like I started off making like little inquisitive music production soundscapes that were really more play than professionalism. And I still kind of do that. I'm looking at maybe like starting like another alias or just using my name to release more instrumental stuff because Fairything has become very like bedroom pop kind of stuff. And I love that so dearly. But like, I don't know, I can't just like bind myself to one musical style. But yeah, Fairything has kind of come into form as this really exciting project where I just get to like write these celebratory pieces about who I am and like the community that I've had and just being able to experience love and wonder and joy and belonging as a queer, neurodivergent, disabled, the whole alphabet soup that I am. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a long-winded answer. Basically, I stumbled into this. I kept stumbling. I'm kind of on my feet now, and I've realized, hey, I really like doing this, and it's kind of like taking form. It's taking shape.
And I think it's one of the songs that I've written is called "Trial by Fire," and it's very much like you're out there, you just kind of do it, and
Yeah.
I think it's the best way because then you're not just sitting on a bunch of music at your house just thinking like, oh, maybe one day I'll do this. It's out there. People have heard you. People have connected. People have done enough that they've made fan art of songs that you've created.
It's so surreal. Yeah,
Yeah.
trial by fire is such a good way to put it, especially because, the scene that like I came into, it would have been so easy to just stay in my bedroom. Like it's beautiful that the world is as accessible as it is for emerging like musicians, especially like songwriters and producers. Like I just got FL Studio for myself on like my 19th or 20th birthday and I was like, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. And Yeah, I'm glad that I went out and did Vancouver Pride as my first performance because it wasn't my best performance because I was terrified. But I still did it and I think I did okay. And I've just been doing stuff ever since. And yeah, trial by fire. You really got to go out there and do it. Like, I know so many super accomplished musicians who really blew up during the pandemic and stuff by like sharing their stuff virtually and stuff, who have like terrible stage fright and are like so curious about like the local gigging scene, because local scenes are so valuable. I love the local scene in Vancouver, even though I am still a relative newcomer, and I encourage musicians all the time, like, get involved in your local scene, make some friends. That could be so good for you. But I also know that there is a lot of reluctance to do that, especially if you're coming from the world of like, oh, it's COVID-19, I'm just going to start putting songs online, and now I'm a songwriter, and now people are asking if I'm ever going to do a live show, and I've never done that before. You really just gotta trial by fire it.
And like it's one of those things where, you know, there's been a surge of creativity and creative energy that's come out of the pandemic, where people have been able to just focus on and put out and release music and things like this, and kind of emerge almost as these pandemic artists that have, as you said, that have emerged without having done more of the standard, you know, open house, moving into smaller venues with bands, and then kind of working their way up kind of thing. Whereas, you know, you just put out music and art and people have responded to it. And I think like that is just as you know, as worthy and as invaluable, because artists that haven't done that, I think, are missing out, like, are because like it's just as terrifying putting something into the internet than it is putting being out at an open mic. It's just as equally terrifying. I've done the TikTok live thing, I've done the Instagram live, where, you know, you have a bunch of people that you have no clue watching you and maybe leaving not the best comments.
I'm trying to like wean off of doing live streams online because it's a dark place. Actually, very, very early on in the pandemic, when I was still a little bit reluctant about TikTok, I found out that like Reddit of all places had live streaming. And on one hand, a guy did once pay me $12 to do a flute cover of a Weeknd song. Of The Weeknd song. I don't know how you format that. But on the other hand, I was called pretty much every misogynistic, homophobic, or transphobic slur in the book. So like, it's not worth the $12.
I remember
I did make some friends there though, so.
I was on doing a TikTok live playing some drums, and as I'm playing the whole time, people were like, you should just go back to McDonald's and have another cheeseburger. Because I was wearing a top that was a little tighter. And I just kept laughing, and I'm like, why do you think I'm on TikTok trying to get this $3 of this live? You know, because you just gotta roll with it, right?
You just have to roll with it. Like, it's definitely given me a thick skin, which is really important when you're going on stage and stuff, because like, I still have like the occasional like gig where I'm like, oh my god, I did terribly, and I have to go like hide in the dressing room under the counter and stuff. But honestly, there's very little that a live audience can say to me that hasn't been said already. Like, unless they start throwing things at me, I feel like I'm pretty good.
And one of the things when you are playing live is it's a snapshot, it's an experience. People that see one show you might get a totally different vibe at a different show, different location, different vibe, different day, different set. You know, it's really experiencing you as an artist, and that experience is ever changing. And it's one of the amazing things with being someone who is creative, as we're constantly evolving, as you said, like, you know, not wanting to just pigeonhole yourself as just the bedroom pop and do other things. I think, you know, there's always outlets for being able to put anything that you want out. And, you know, yes, having something that's marketable and something that's, you know, like, here is Fairything as a bedroom pop thing. But it doesn't mean that, like, you know, you can't release things that's, you know, different still under that name. But it's completely up to you on how you want to do that, whether you want to separate it or keep just building this cool brand and this cool image that is this. So
yeah, I've definitely been like thinking about what the future of this whole project is, like whether it is Fairything or just me as an artist. Because one thing I started doing during the pandemic was I started doing commissions of like instrumentals and jingles and compositional things. I've done them for podcasts, I've done them for like YouTubers, I've done them for all kinds of things, and it's been really exciting. And because I'm working with what people want, it's not always necessarily like a kind of Fairything sound. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll just make a proper little like Alex K. Massey composer kind of thing. But in the meantime, I don't mind being Fairything, the like little like bedroom pop. I don't even know if bedroom pop applies to me anymore. That's just what everyone said I was. Bedroom pop, bit pop, whatever. I could be the whatever pop Fairything, and then also Fairything the composer. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where like I just wanted to make silly tunes, and now I'm like vexed by the idea of branding myself. I gotta love late stage capitalism, I guess, but I don't know. It's definitely that little tug of war of like how much can Fairything do and how much can I like do as Fairything. And I don't know. It's just something I'm rolling with, and in the meantime, something I'll do on occasion is I'll just like do other stuff for the sake of it, and it doesn't even have to like go anywhere. Like I can do fun stuff with freelance. I'm in my first ever game jam right now doing sound design of all things.
I love game jams.
It's my first ever, and I'm so excited. It was the whole pitch with this one was that people make the games and then the musicians and sound designers come in after. So like I'm designing for a game that I know exactly like absolutely nothing about. Like it's set in the South, and I don't know anything about the South, as we know. I'm Canadian, so very interesting. But yeah, it's just so exciting being able to go out there and try all these things. And I try not to think about, oh, how am I gonna like make this a Fairything thing? Because maybe I'll just make a whole other thing someday. Maybe I'll make it a Fairything thing. Sometimes you just need to create without wondering like, oh, how is this gonna fit in my niche?
Exactly. And the thing is to just keep creating. Everything that you do put out is really cool, and everyone should check it out. Where can people find you?
I'm currently Fairything Flies on Instagram. I'm Fairything on streaming platforms and stuff. Just Fairything. Yeah, I'm either Fairything or Fairything Flies. Most places, I guess.
Fantastic. And you know, the last point that we were gonna touch upon was what's coming up in the year.
The new year is honestly going to be really exciting. So in September, I did this little project called September Singles Arena, where I basically released like about half a dozen demos. These little like 1 to 2 minute long demos of little songwriter projects that I've been tinkering with, and I just threw them out into the world, and I figured the most successful one, I'll make it my next single, the first single of 2024. And I'd actually tried doing that in 2021, but that got like kind of canceled informally due to some personal life stuff. My life is a whirlwind. I like being Fairything because Fairything just gets to chill and play the cue chord. But yeah, I've been looking at that, and it looks like my next single is going to be this song called Like a Woman that I've been performing pretty much since my first Vancouver Pride performance. So I feel like it's finally time that I do that. I don't know if I'm going to record it in my bedroom or maybe even do something professional for once. We'll see where that goes. One crazy thing that I've been doing lately is not even like just performing acoustic, or well, as acoustic I get with my cue chord. It's still a synth. I've been using backing tracks because I finally that was really wild for me. Like I remember I did it like last month, and I made a whole display of like getting up off my little stool and being like, okay, I'm gonna perform standing up for the first time ever. And of course, people who don't know me don't know that that's like really big for me, but it was very big for me, and I had a lot of fun with that. So yeah, new performance styles, a new single, hopefully. I'm really excited to see how I can elevate it from the demo it is to an actual song, especially because this song is like almost 3 years old, and I should finally give it its due, I guess, maybe. And besides that, I might also have an EP coming out with my band Webpage 505. Really fascinating little band there. I love all my bandmates so much. None of us have ever met in real life because it's a digital band, very much like a 2020s kind of project. Super exciting. But yeah, new single, new EP with webpage, hoping to be performing in new and exciting ways. Generally, I'm just kind of in like a very transitional phase as Fairything. 2023 was a really interesting like year, both career-wise and personal-wise. I was able to open up about a lot of things within myself and like, you know, with the community around me. And I've felt really supported and cared for. I've been in a lot of really cool programs and a lot of really cool collaborations. And I don't know, I'm feeling very held, which is helping me with getting on my feet in both the figurative and literal sense.
Fantastic. I love it. And I wish you all the best. Please, everyone, go. All the links will be down below. Go check out everything, and please give us a subscribe, hit that like button, give it a share, keep supporting the scene, and it's been fantastic. Do you have any last words that you want to say to our audience?
I was gonna pick up my. Do you want to see my cat?
Yes.
She's not gonna like this, but she says to subscribe and like and all those things that were just said, and stream Fairything. And keep an ear out because I will ideally have new music next year. And just because I'm Fairything, here's the synth. Just so I can say that it was on camera. There's your thumbnail.
So cool. It is.
There's your thumbnail right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anywho, thanks so much. Have a great one. And we will see you later.
Have a lovely night. Bye.
Thanks for watching. This is Support the Scene. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, follow, and share.